Welcome to The Power of Potential, a podcast hosted and produced by St. Rose High School in Belmar, New Jersey. The show is dedicated to helping parents navigate the world of private education while showcasing the potential of its students, teachers, and alumni. St. Rose High School has been empowering potential since 1923.
Welcome back to the Power of Potential podcast. I'm Samantha Golding.
And I'm Arianna Simon.
And we have some very wonderful guests here today. We are going to be talking about our bagpipe band here at St. Rose High School.
So today we're talking about our bagpipe band, which I am luckily in and I'm a part of. So why don't we all introduce ourselves, all of our guests. So who wants to start?
Start with our fearless leader.
Welcome, Miss Weingarten.
I'm Miss Weingarten. I am the pipe major and founder of the St. Rose High School Bagpipe Band.
Hi, I'm Shannon. I'm a sophomore, and I'm also a part of the Bagpipe Band.
And Miss Weingarten, a little humble there as well, also the music teacher. She is here. I'm Mr. Petrillo, the campus minister and one of our religion teachers and bass drum player.
So I guess we'll start with Miss Weingarten. Why don't you give your background with playing the bagpipes?
Okay, well, I started when I was in high school. I think 2011 is when I started, so I've been playing 11 years. Currently, I am a top-ranked piper, competitive piper in the grade 4 category of the Eastern United States Pipe Band Association. Just came off of a competition winning a first and a second prize, which is really exciting. Thank you. Yeah, that's where I come from. When I first came in to interview for the music teacher position, they saw that I played bagpipes and immediately asked me, would you be interested in starting a bagpipe band? And I said, absolutely, let's do it. And fast forward about a year through COVID, and I designed our kilt, I designed our logo. We have a banner now. We'll be making our first public appearance, so yeah.
Can you show us what the kilt, kind of like the pattern of the kilt? Isn't it on your...
Yeah, so actually our tartan is on my lanyard here. It's purple. We have some black, yellow, and white stripes for, purple and gold St. Rose.
Yes, it's very exciting. When we first heard we were getting our own custom tartan, it was and then we waited a very long time.
Yes, very, very long wait period. Was that almost a year, I think, right?
Worth the wait, though.
Yeah,
we did. It was worth the wait. It's
worth
great.
the wait in gold.
Oh, good.
So, Shannon, you're obviously a sophomore here, and the pipe band is still new. So, how did you get involved?
So I love music. I love musical theater. I love to sing, and I love playing an instrument too. I've played so many throughout my life. And when I got a Google form last year asking if I was interested, I was like, of course I am. I love learning a new instrument, so I knew it was going to be a great opportunity for me.
Yes, and then you came to me and said, we should do this. And I said, okay. And then I showed my dad, and he was like, you have to do it. So then we both were like, yeah, we're going to do it. And it was just, when we started, it was just us, Miss Weingarten and Gavin, and then Mr. Petrillo and Mr. Appleyard. And now we have 3 more pipers and 3 more drummers.
Making a nice little band.
I know. It's exciting. Let's start, the first couple months of starting the band, and it was still very new to Shannon and I. We started at Flex, right? Yes, we started at Flex, and Gavin, who graduated last year, he was very we were into it, but he is very musically
he was over the top into it.
I'm Gavin. I'm a senior at St. Rose, and this is the new pipe and drum band of St. Rose, led by Miss Weingarten, our music teacher.
He went and started taking lessons from the instructor that I took lessons with, and I said, wait 6 months to order bagpipes. He waited 6 days before he ordered his bagpipes. So he was very into it.
Do we know if he still plays bagpipes?
He does. Actually, he'll be at the Belmar Parade, not marching with St. Rose, but marching with my other band. So he'll be there. Yeah.
Yeah, so we started, and then pretty quick, let's start over. we started, and then your instructor, Derek, wrote our tune for us.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we have our own school song now. Tune. Bagpipe songs are tunes. Yeah, I didn't even ask him.
He just
did it.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, you started a band. Let me compose a tune for you."
And what did you say to that? You just were
I said, "Yeah, sure."
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah,
and then, well, it didn't have a title at first. It was just called
St. Rose Pipe Tune, and then we voted on it.
We did vote on the title.
That was a long time ago.
It was just called. I think it was just called St. Rose High School Pipe Band.
Yeah.
Which there are tunes named after bands, but we voted, what is it, Purple and Gold.
Yeah, we voted for Purple and Gold.
The Purple and Gold.
Oh, yes. I still have the original paper that says St. Rose High School Pipe Band on it. And I will not get rid of it. I have it still.
Nostalgia.
It's going to be worth money one day.
Yes. We're all famous.
After this parade, it's going to be
So
top
I have
dollar.
a quick question before we get into like your official like debut, your first live performance. So Mr. Petrillo, we've talked about how Shannon and Miss Weingarten got involved. How did you get involved?
Oh, yeah, actually, I want to know this too.
Yeah, what made you want to join us?
So I like to say I'm a sucker for community. If you've seen me walking around the halls, you've probably seen me air drumming or tapping on myself, tap on desks. I'm a drummer. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think you usually hear the distinction between drummers and percussionists. Drummers can't read music. Percussionists can.
Can confirm.
So I can read basic music, but I've not. So anyway.
Your music theory tests prove that.
Yes.
Yes. It was very fun to read. I enjoyed it.
I'm happy that I'm glad I can bring joy. So Miss Weingarten, was talking about starting a band and said she needed drummers. And throughout my life, I've joined random bands. I played in the pep band at Monmouth University, despite my not being a student there. It was a lot of fun, and just the opportunity to hit something with cause for music, other than a desk or anything like that. I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. Mr. Appleyard was interested. We're good pals, and it's just been a great experience.
I was also curious how he came to be in the band because one would not expect that.
Yeah, no, I didn't really know him because we were freshmen, but now I wouldn't have guessed him for a snare drum.
Well, from what I remember,
I think he's been in some bands throughout his life as well, and it was great because when we first started, there was just open for everything. The tom, the bass drum, the snare drum. And I was thinking back to like my time in middle school when I was in the band, and there was one parade I had to march with the tom, and it was terrible. It was a miserable experience. God bless our tom players. The way it just hangs and swings, it was not pleasant. So I'm like, I don't care what I play, I'm not playing that. And there's a part of me, again, not really knowing how to read music. I'm like, well, bass drum is probably going to be the easiest thing to play musically, so I'll do that. And Mr. Alpio was like, oh, I really want the drums. And I mean, the drums are a bit flashy. The snare drum's kind of a lot cooler than the bass drum. And I think he's got the personality for the snare drum, and he's great. So it worked out really well that way.
I think I remember him saying his reason for joining was just to get involved in something. And then he didn't realize just how much
you got him involved.
Yeah. How involved he would get.
Yeah, it's fun because I keep reminding him, if he looks back at the video of us marching the hallway last year, and if we listen to a recording of what we sound like now, I mean, holy cow.
Yeah. It's a big deal. I mean, we went from just droning in the background, now we're playing Chanter for this parade.
Yeah. We have our own kilts. We're not borrowing kilts.
Who did you borrow kilts from before?
My other band.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the kilt you wore for the show. Yeah. That I had to squeeze you in. It was not a fun time. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, so I mean, I know how hard it is to play the bagpipes, but I feel like people underestimate how difficult it is.
He tried.
Insane.
Mr. Petrillo tried playing.
We had one of our drum practices, and I don't remember how the conversation came up, but I didn't think it was easy. But there's a part of like, how difficult is it?
Did you say how hard could it be?
I don't think I said that.
He wasn't that guy.
And
thank goodness.
Like I was able to inflate the bag, and I was able to get like a singular sound out.
A little boop.
God bless
I mean,
you.
we're not even on the
That's why I
same
play
level.
drums.
Oh my God, no.
It's not as easy as it may look. It's not just blowing up a bag and...
Yeah, a lot of people think it's just blow in, squeeze, but it's a cycle. And once you figure out the cycle, you're like, oh, okay. But yeah, no, so the first 2 months that I got my first set of bagpipes, I almost passed out every single time. And, my mom would always comment, man, your face is red. You should probably stop. I'm like, nope, I'm determined. I'm going to keep making a sound. But yeah, it's very difficult. I've had other band directors who play wind instruments, trumpet, saxophone, whatever. They try to play it, and it's totally different from anything else.
My only experience with that, our only experience, was the recorder in fourth grade.
Yeah, and that's just a little wisp of air, and you make noise.
Yeah. I mean, I think we kind of knew how to do that part was fun. Yeah. The air was a whole other beast. I'm glad that we didn't go right into that though. You were let's do practice trainer for a while.
Yeah. So you have to learn in phases. You start with the practice trainer, which is kind of like a recorder. That's so you learn the tunes, you get used to the notes. Then when you switch to pipes, you only drone. The sticks sticking up off your shoulder. And then you have to get used to that cycle. Then you shut them off, and then you play the real chanter. And then it's like, whoa, okay, totally different ball game. And then you put it all together.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, you just go boom, 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 boom,
and
boom.
hope not to run into anyone.
Yeah, that's the biggest challenge.
So I hear Arianna has recently gotten a new title to add to her list of titles here at St. Rose.
Yes, Arianna has received a promotion to pipe sergeant.
Yes, it's embarrassing. I don't like talking about myself.
Me neither.
I'm red. Yes, it's very exciting.
So what is that going to entail for her?
So, the audition itself, it was a blind audition, so I didn't know who was playing what, or when, rather.
Yeah.
Pipe sergeant is basically my second in command. They're the first ones to get tuned, so I can tune the rest of the band from them. They corral everybody together. They put everybody in their place in the lineup, so that all I have to do is say go, and we go.
Yes, I memorized a chart.
I'm sensing a perfect role here.
Yeah.
I've already memorized for the parade. I know it's happening.
Yes.
So, talking about the parade, that's our first official public appearance. Now, we've been playing on the steps and in the hallways since last St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
And then we played on the steps for all the open houses. So, anyone that came to open house, we played.
Veterans Day, we played.
We played Veterans Day, yes. So this
is going to be your first one outside of school. Yes, it's still with the school, but
this is going to be public.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
But now St. Rose is also in the Belmar parade.
And let's be fair. It's not often you hear of a high school having a bagpipe band.
It's true. Usually they have a marching band, and this is our version of a marching band.
So what other schools have a bagpipe band?
Well, CBA does. There's a public high school up north somewhere who actually incorporate bagpipes into their marching band.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We have not enough people for that.
No. No. There's a couple in New York, I believe, but in New Jersey, I think.
UNCBA kind of, and the school in North Jersey?
No, there's probably about 5 or 6 schools that have a bagpipe band program.
Mm-hmm.
But the public schools, they combine it with their marching band usually.
So where do you picture it going? Obviously we'd like more and more members to join, and
now we have a bagpipe class.
Yes,
we do.
Bagpipe class.
You can take it as a credit, as your arts credits, which is awesome. I want us to compete. We're going to be a competition band. I'm hoping that individual members will also want to compete. Solo. Looking at you two.
The founding members.
Mr. Petrillo, you asked a question about competing on bass drum that one time.
Yeah, well, a long time ago.
Rethinking that one? Okay.
But yeah, I want us to compete. We are taking a trip to Scotland this August to see the World Bagpipe Championships. And in the future, I hope we can
Win it.
Compete. Yeah, win it.
Yes.
We're going to win worlds.
We're going to go win. I have seen those bands. Wow.
Yep.
That's
Let's
a
go.
whole other arena of mind-blowing.
So you want to tell us more about the trip to Scotland?
Sure. This was a question that I brought up on a whim when we first started. Like, hey, how would you feel if I looked into taking a trip to Scotland?
Yeah, that's how we got Genevieve to join the band, because we said we were at an open house or an interest night or something, and you mentioned it to both of us, and we're like, what if we went to Scotland? And we were like, yeah, please?
Yeah, how would you feel if? So, yeah, it'd be great. It'd be great. Yeah, so I started looking into it. I started researching. I was asking other teachers who had done international tours what company they used. I got all the information. I set it up. People signed up, and we're going.
And next thing you know, you're going to Scotland.
We're going to Scotland. Like,
So
holy
exciting.
cow. I can't believe that it's actually, I keep having to pinch myself. Is this really happening?
Every time you send an email and it says how many days until we leave,
Yeah.
I get more and more and more excited. I can't wait.
We're, in the 150 day zone now?
so.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
From a tiny idea that you brought up to us, and now we're going in like 150 something days. Wow.
It's crazy.
Mind blowing. Obviously, bagpipes are usually traditionally associated with funerals, and I mean, you could get paid for them, which is very nice. Yes. So where do you think it kind of moved into a more like joyous occasion? Like, obviously we're playing them for St. Patrick's Day, and you hear them at Kelly's and other Irish pubs all the time. So I feel like we're always having fun. Like, no one's ever sat around I can't imagine being sat around the bagpipes. That's weird.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting dynamic, because whenever you're at a party, everybody's, every time I hear bagpipes, I just want to cry. But when you're actually in the world of bagpiping, like you said, we're always having fun.
Yeah.
Now, historically, bagpipes were actually an instrument of war.
Yes.
They were declared an instrument of war.
Sergeant.
Yeah. So much so that they were actually, so the English, quick history lesson here. In the 1700s, the English banned anything to do with Scottish heritage. So that meant bagpipes, wearing of the kilts, speaking in Gaelic, Scots Gaelic. But eventually the British were like, this instrument is pretty effective on a battlefield, and you can hear it for miles and miles and miles. So we're going to adopt it into the British military. So then it became a military thing. And then, with the clans in Scotland, it was always played at parties. So traditionally they're called ceilidhs. Whenever the clans would gather, there would be a competition for, which laird's piper. So laird is like the lord of the land. Which laird's piper is the best piper. So competitions were happening like way back in the 1700s.
They were just unofficial.
Yeah.
Unofficial.
It just wasn't like you got medals.
So I honestly don't know where the transition happened from an honorable entertainment position to very somber farewell send-off to funerals. But it's a very common
Misconception.
thing. Yeah, it is. It is a very honorable send-off.
Yeah.
But,
beautiful.
we also play at weddings, parties, especially during the month of March. Everybody's having a St. Patrick's Day party. Everybody wants a bagpiper at their party. So I really don't know where the focus was like, bagpipes, funerals.
Yeah. I don't get it. Like, I mean, we don't think about it like that. Yeah, I've been to funerals where they're...
You can also think of it as, like, bagpipes are such a great instrument that when you're saying goodbye to a family member, you want to have such a great instrument, be played as, like, a remembrance of them.
Yeah, I guess
So you can think of it that way.
Yeah, also I feel like Irish funerals are not always the most somber occasion. Yeah. There's lots of other things happening at Irish funerals.
Celebration of life.
Yeah, it's kind of like New Orleans. Like you said, celebration of life.
So obviously you're also the music teacher, and you're wonderful, and you're our choir director, and
she has many roles here. But where do you envision bagpipes going here at St. Rose besides competitions and stuff? And where do you envision on the music department going outside, like for St. Rose?
Yeah. Well, so the bagpipe class, I would like to make it a top-notch education to the point where students can apply for college scholarships just for playing bagpipes, because there's a lot of them out there. So, mental note for you two when it's time to apply for scholarships.
We were talking about that. I was like, I want to go to school in England or Scotland. So it's definitely something to look into.
As far as the music department as a whole, I quite enjoy having a variety of classes. So it's not just chorus. It's not just pop instruments. It's not just bagpipes.
So what other classes do you want to create here at St. Rose?
Well,
you started music theory this year.
Yep, I started Intro to Music Theory. Next year we're gonna have AP Music Theory.
So what's after that?
Just keep it going. Keep the hype going.
You have AP theory. Is there gonna be another class you're gonna create that
doctoral theory, doctoral music theory?
Doctoral music. Yeah. I was thinking already about doing a yearly rotating class offering schedule. So maybe do a music history class or film music class.
Oh, that's cool. And would that be soundtracks and stuff?
Yep, soundtracks for movies, TV shows, video games. Video game soundtracks are pretty hot right now.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be really interesting. I feel like people really like that.
Yeah, so, hoping I can, because I can't teach 10 different classes in a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There's only 6 periods.
So are there any other ideas of different, would you want a class to just focus on the drums or just focus on the guitar or?
Yeah, that would be awesome. As much as I love teaching ensembles with different instruments in the same class, I think doing a guitar only class or a drum only class, that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah. I'm taking theory next year, so I'm excited. I was warned by Mr. Petrillo that it is hard, so I'm pumped though.
Well, hard for him.
Ooh,
so I'm also not in the class. I'm going into these things blind.
Yes. Yeah. Although you did do really well on that one. Yeah.
I liked the mermaid though on the last one. That was very nice.
Yeah, your doodles on the test.
Yep.
You
quite
military
lovely.
ranks. You gave him tests.
I voluntarily take the music theory tests
with no prior knowledge.
Yeah.
Why do you subject yourself to that?
Kids in the class love it.
It's a great question.
Oh, no, I like it. It's fun.
I think now it's because...
I'm just saying, why do you subject yourself to it voluntarily?
I don't know. I think... So a friend of mine, a good friend of mine is a music teacher at another high school. And this was years ago. We were hanging out, and he had one of the tests on his table. And I'm like, can I try one? And he's like, sure. So I took it just on a whim. And I didn't do well. I may have got a 60 on it. And he's like, oh, that's actually better than some of my students. And I'm like, I don't know if that's a reflection on you or on them. And that was the only one I did, and that was probably 10 years ago. And then, I heard about the test, and I wonder, what do I actually know about music? Not much. Not much. And it's just kind of one of the, whole bunch of, tritones and major, minor, flat this, and learning about types of, I guess, scales that I'd never even seen before. You have your bass and your
You want to help him out here?
Treble
clef, bass clef,
and then,
tenor clef.
Yeah, and then there's a tenor clef, and then these things don't exist. You're making this stuff up.
No, they exist because music theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for those that are in the class, it's they enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
It is a lot of work, and I think you have it's not rocket scientists and rocket scientists. They're saying it's not music theory.
And Brian May says, "Let me explain."
But yeah, I think now I continue to take them because there's
it brings joy to people.
It brings joy to people, and as do bagpipes. So full circle.
Yeah.
Shannon, you have anything to add about bagpipes in general and what you want to do with it besides scholarships like she's suggesting?
The bagpipes are great. I love playing an instrument. Like I said, I love music. I would love to continue this after high school too. I'd like to, keep this going as long as I can because, you know, I've already learned pretty much kind of how to do it. I would hate to lose that skill. So
yeah, I know.
I don't think you're going to lose that skill.
No, I think, oh yeah, we'll definitely continue after high school. Okay. Well, I think we're pretty much wrapping up now. So thank you to everyone for being on, and thank you, Miss Weingarten, for starting the Bagpipe Band that we love to do, and it's very good time. So thank you, everybody, and thank you, everyone watching. This was another episode of the Power Potential Podcast.
I'm Samantha Golding.
And I'm Arianna Simon.
Make sure to subscribe and like and get your podcasts wherever you view them. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. And yeah. We'll see you for the next episode.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Power of Potential podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others. Subscribe to hear past and future episodes. Learn more about St. Rose by visiting our website at srhsnj.com.